Yeah, Actively Black. So in case anybody doesn't know, we are both currently wearing the brand Actively Black, which is a Black-owned athletic gear company. So, and actually, I don't know, is your whole outfit Actively Black? Because mine is right now.
No, I'm wearing Nike shorts and socks.
I don't have those shoes, so I can't.
Right.
So your pants and your shirt are both Actively Black, or you're wearing shorts? Showing the legs. No.
Man, look. I'm about to say, if I would have known we was going to be recording, I would have, I don't know, put on like a suit or something. I'm lying. No, I wouldn't have.
Oh, you wouldn't have. No, we like our athletic gear. So if we're not in business meetings.
Like this is a business meeting right here.
I mean, technically, but I like that
this is what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is what it looks like.
We show our personality when we do these, so I think it's important. You see the authentic person instead of, I don't know, the suited up individual. So what you got from?
So basically, I was kind of surfing the interwebs not too long ago. In fact, like a little bit before we got on this phone, and basically I ended up coming across a video that it kind of implied the pros and cons of renting versus buying a property. And I mean, basically, they have their opinions or whatever the case may be. But as the resident expert, I want to get your opinion. Like who would it benefit the most to buy properties?
Okay. Like buying a property as in buying for home or buying for investment? Because that's a different conversation.
I want to know about the home first.
Okay. So the first thing is, for the majority of people at some point in their life, it will be a good idea for them to buy. Now, a person who very simply 100% is like, I have no interest in owning a home, then just don't. That's the person that should not. If you authentically just feel like it's just not for you, it's not a goal, it's not on your list of to-do items for your life, then that's the person who should not. Anybody else who is like, yeah, I would like to own a home, should. Now, it's going to be different on when they should. So the first thing I think is a big indicator is income level. Now, most people, as long as they have reliable income, can buy a home. But a person who has $40,000 a year or more typically is in a good position to buy a house. They can own their own space. So, a lot of people, as we know, I don't know, because you're in Baton Rouge, I'm between New Orleans and Lafayette. Most reasonable 2 to 3 bedrooms are running between $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And you're paying rent and you have no ownership in it, right? So you're sitting there and you're renting, paying, let's say $1,400 a month, and 20 years from now, you're still paying that, and you could have paid off a house. You could own it fully and completely, no longer have to make payments on it, except your taxes and your insurance. But those typically get kind of like frozen in place, especially if you don't have a mortgage anymore. So
right.
You
get free income from there.
Tax increase. Yeah. So, that's your only expense when you reach that point. Whereas if you were renting, it's sad to say, I've been in situations where I'm showing properties to places and a person is asking, if you buy this, will you let me continue to rent here? Like that's scary. I had a man he said he'd been living there for 25 years and he was like, I don't want to move. It's my house. And I'm like, technically,
is it really though?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like your name isn't on it. Like you've been renting this place. So that's a big indicator for anybody. Like if you don't want to be in that position at some point in your future, you should own property. That's the simplest answer to that. So I think that answers the question about who should own property.
No, it definitely does. But you did mention something earlier about when is a good time, and I know there's this saying that the best time to do something was yesterday, and the next best time is today. But obviously, you being the resident expert, you probably have a little bit more insight into that. So when would be the best time for somebody to look into getting their first home?
So the reason people say that statement, the best time was yesterday, the second best is today, is because of the nature of the real estate market, real estate property values. By and large, property values tend to increase, right?
Mhm.
So similar, because that statement's also said a lot about buying stock or buying an annuity or any investment, right, of your money. Yesterday was the best day, right? The second best is today, because even though values rise and fall, and you're going to hear that in the news, values rise and fall, they tend to trend upward, right? So if you buy an investment product or you buy a property today, even if the property value does this, it's going to continue to go in that direction. So if you think back, flashback to like math class, when you had the graph of the data, right? If you had a line that was going upward, you knew that that was the trend. So that's the first thing about saying, like, when should you buy? That's the reason people say yesterday was the best day, because today it's already trending upward, right? A lot of people are talking in the news about how property values decreased, right? Well, they decreased from 2021 to 2022 in some places. They didn't decrease in every place. That's another thing people have to realize. And then also, it was just from 21 to 22. So even if you're in one of those markets that's seeing a decline right now, it's not going to last. That decline is just from the 2021 value. And it's going to go back up in 2023 and 2024. So the bottom line is, you're not losing money because you bought a house, right? It's going to be a temporary dip for those places. There's many neighborhoods, like one in particular that's the ideal example of this is Gentilly in New Orleans. The property values there saw what I call a natural increase that we tend to see year over year. They didn't go excessive, whereas there's a different neighborhood, I'm not going to name it because I don't want nobody to feel some type of way, that was uncharacteristically high. And they're seeing an issue this year. But by and large, most of the neighborhoods, they're continuing to increase in value. So that's why that statement is made. The best time to buy was yesterday. Today is the second best time. But as you mentioned, I do have more insight for the individual as far as when, because you do want to have certain things in place to make it a comfortable purchase for yourself.